What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. I'm your host, Seal the Source. Thank you once again for tuning in to yet another episode. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing more life hacks with y'all. This is Life Hacks Volume 2. And before we get started, I wanted to provide a couple of updates. If you're watching the YouTube version of this podcast, you can see the background. And if you've seen a YouTube video of my podcast before, usually you see like the Nipsey Hussle posters in the back, Kobe Bryant, Tupac's back there. I got a Michael Jordan one up here, and as you can see, the walls are plain and bare. It's nothing but white walls now. And again, if you've been following the updates from the last few episodes, I've shared with y'all that I am moving spaces. I'm actually leaving this current space in Daly City, California, and eventually moving myself out to Hawaii. And as I mentioned, I'll be sharing my whole experience with y'all. I'll be sharing it through the podcast as well as through vlogging. And I'm really, really optimistic and excited about everything going forward. But before I can turn to another chapter, that means the closing of another, right? And it wouldn't be right if I didn't pay respect to this space, because in this space, so much has come from it. So much personal development, so much enlightenment, so many different experiences, so many different episodes. I mean, I was in this space when the idea of the podcast came to mind for me to create it. And I've done so much learning in this space, so much growing in this space. And the space also gave me so much like valuable distance that I needed from my home where I grew up, where my family is, and my immediate relatives are. And it allowed me just enough space to be able to like have that distance from them, but just enough also close enough to be able to access them whenever I needed to. I'm about 15 to 20 minutes away from the city of San Francisco, from where I grew up, from the house I grew up, where my grandma stays, my dad, my stepmom, my brother, my dog, and my family, my sisters, and the neighborhood I grew up in. And to be able to have that close of an access, but just enough space for me to be able to have my own personal space, especially out here in the Bay Area, where, like, if you don't know, the cost of living is really, really expensive out here. Like it's an absolute blessing. So for me to be able to have it, and not only have it, but also be able to utilize it in the best ways, to be able to flourish, to be able to thrive, to be able to elevate myself, to be able to level up and grow in so many different ways, man, it's been a blessing. That's why I feel like I'm blessed beyond measure, y'all. And honestly, it's going to sound funny, but I feel like Will Smith on that last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he was the last one left in the house and the house was empty, and he was kind of standing in the middle of the room, and he was just reflecting to himself. And you could see that reflective look on his face where he was just like, wow, just kind of soaking it all in, that, yeah, I spent some good amount of time in this place. Shared a lot of laughs, there was a lot of love. That episode was so iconic in regards to all the seasons of that series. If you've been following Will Smith and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, obviously before the slap, that series and that show itself, from the cast to the stories and all the laughs and all the memories, it played a very pivotal role in my upbringing for sure, and I know for a lot of people as well. And I very much have that type of feeling right now as I'm sitting here recording this episode and just kind of putting everything in boxes and getting ready to be on my way up out of here and into a new space. It's very, very, for lack of a better word, it's bittersweet, I guess, because although I'm super excited about what's to come with moving to Hawaii, and actually before I move to Hawaii, I'm going to be living in San Francisco back with my dad at my parents' place again, just to kind of make my rounds and spend some extra time before I make that jump out to Hawaii. But like I said, it's kind of bittersweet because although it is exciting, it's also like, damn, I've spent a lot of time here in this space and grown very accustomed to just kind of enjoying the environment around me. If you know anything about this space, Daly City, California, there's a lot of Filipinos out here. You know, a lot of my people, and it's very convenient. Like it's a great area in terms of convenience. I mean, there's a shopping mall less than 10 minutes away from where I stay, probably 5 minutes away, to be honest with you. And in that shopping mall, I had my gym, I had a Target, um, all the essential places that you really need, restaurants, really good dining areas where you can kind of get like quick, convenient, and inexpensive eats. Um, and I had access to a lot of my friends who were nearby over here and stuff like that. In the neighborhood where I'm at right now, the neighborhood is great. It was quiet. As right now, there's a lot of construction going on right now, so I should apologize if you hear any background noise from the construction. But overall, it's been a great neighborhood. Up the block, there's a basketball court that I go to damn near every day to just clear my mind, shoot around, get out into the space of like a park where I can kind of touch base with nature and just kind of be on my own. And it's been a really cool place for me to kind of just do that. In the back area too, there's like a little place where you can walk around and just do laps. I'm talking about like super convenient around over here. Um, some of my very best friends stay in the area. You know what I'm saying? So I've been able to tap in with them on a regular basis. I got my cousins that live nearby, my nieces that live nearby. And honestly, it's been a great place to do my thing out here. The Blessed Beyond Measure podcast was created from this very space right over here that you see. So there's a lot to be thankful for, and I'm very, very grateful for this time in my life, this space, and for what it's done for me, and what it's going to continue to do as I continue my ascension, my elevation in life. So, yeah, I definitely feel like Will Smith in that moment where I'm just thankful and ready to also turn the next chapter on in my life. So, with that being said, I am going to be moving out to San Francisco, like I mentioned, and spending a few weeks out there before I make my way out to Hawaii and set up shop over there. And I'm super excited. I'm going to be vlogging it all. I'm actually recording a lot of the stuff that I do, and I'm going to put it in the first episode of the vlog. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be titled something along the lines of moving from SF to Hawaii, you know, just the whole process, documenting the whole process. And I'm really, really excited to bring that to y'all. Editing is something that I didn't quite realize I had a passion for, but I actually really enjoy it. I lose track of time when I'm editing and I'm kind of in that zone of creating. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes commitment. And while you're balancing out everyday life, like I am, in terms of moving, packing up everything, trying to sell all my stuff, get rid of all my stuff, and also finalizing the details to get out to Hawaii and just kind of setting up shop for that. It's a lot, all while working and trying to maintain a healthy life balance of seeing people that I want to see and spend time with people that I want to spend time with and everything like that. And it's definitely a balancing act for sure, but I'm having a whole lot of fun with the process. And actually, that is a perfect segue to get right into what we're going to talk about in this episode, which is life hacks. I'm going to give y'all some more life hacks. And I think that's a perfect segue because we tend to get overwhelmed, right? When there's a lot of things going on in life, we tend to get overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, I got so much stuff to do. Damn, like I got hella stuff to do today. What am I going to do? And then you get so overwhelmed to the point where you just freak yourself out and stress yourself out so much. You're just like, it's not even healthy for you. So the first life hack I want to share with y'all is something that I learned for myself, and that's to simply gamify everything. Everything in life should be gamified. Try to have fun with the process, right? You hear that a lot. Have fun with the process. But if you gamify everything, you're able to have a lot more fun with the process rather than get overwhelmed. Now, let me break down what I talk about with gamifying. So, if you're familiar with video games, from Street Fighter to Super Mario Brothers to NBA 2K, all that stuff, right? Call of Duty, right? If you're a gamer, you understand it's about levels in games, right? You're always trying to get to the next level. You're always trying to beat the first level, get to the second level, and so on and so forth, right? And usually in the old school games like Mario Brothers or like Street Fighter and stuff like that, when you're doing the single player version, right? You're getting to the end of the level and you face a boss, right? And you're having fun playing video games, right? So that's really what I mean about gamifying everything, is just kind of looking at it, looking at where the level that you're at, instead of like the farthest level, like the end game. Have fun with it. Take every level one step at a time, defeat what you need to defeat, accomplish what you need to accomplish. When you get to the end of each level, beat that boss and get to the next one. And then when you kind of like make that switch in your mind, at least what I've found is I'm like, I have so much more fun with the process. I'm like, instead of looking at like all this shit that I got to do today, I'm like, all right, how do I get to the next level? I'm asking myself that. I'm gamifying it, right? To a point where like, okay, and how can I make this fun, right? Instead of like looking at it as like just a burden all the time. You know what I mean? So that's more what I mean about gamifying everything. And trust me, when you learn how to do that, it really, really helps. It's just like that little thing that you can kind of do with the mind to kind of help your way of thinking, a shift in perspective that can really, really help you and propel you moving forward. So that's life hack number one for volume number two. The second life hack, I love this life hack, and it's something that I practice every single day. It's a really, really hard one. Simple, but really, really hard. And this life hack is simply to take full accountability for everything in your life, good and bad. Because when you do that, you give yourself all the power back, and you don't give the power to somebody else for how you feel and everything like that, right? Because things are happening inevitably in our life, excuse me. But if we're going to take accountability and responsibility for the good in our life, we have to also do it for the bad. And when we're able to do that, my gosh, you become so much more powerful, because you're not leaving the responsibility of how you feel and where your life is in the hands of another person or another situation. You're taking full accountability. And when you do that, you tend to take it more serious, to the point that you're more focused. You're much more aware of your actions and what you say, what you do, how you move, the energy you're putting out. And honestly, it's a big part of the maturation process in growing and becoming older, becoming wiser, not even older, not even just older. It's becoming more wiser, right? And just becoming a better human being. Because if we're blaming everybody for our circumstances and blaming this for that, and it's just nothing but pointing the finger, you can only get so far doing that. And honestly, I think I did that for way too long in my life. I would blame this. I would blame that. I would blame, my parents for not doing this. I would blame, this person for not giving me the job. I would blame, this for happening, not realizing that that was an energy in itself. And I was playing the victim way too much, and that was not helping me. And it wasn't until I realized that taking full accountability for what happens in my life that things really started to change for me. I started realizing, okay, if I want something new, if I want new things to happen in my life, I'm going to have to move differently. I'm going to have to do things differently. And I have to accept that responsibility. Like, everything comes with a cost. You know what I'm saying? And for every action, there is a reaction. So for me, realizing that, okay, I want these different things in my life. I want to accomplish this. I want to go here. I want to do that. It's not just going to be given to me. So I have to accept the responsibility that is associated with what it is that I want. And, you know, sometimes things happen in life and they seem random. But honestly, if you believe in karma, if you believe in the spiritual world in terms of, again, every action, there is a reaction. And, you know, karma is basically like, that's basically karma explained right there, that for every action, there's a reaction. If you really believe in that, like I do, you know that everything happens for a reason. And like even earlier on, if I were to do something, it would inevitably come back around at some point in life. And karma doesn't necessarily have to just be about bad things happening in your life. If you're doing good, guess what? Good's going to come back to you. So when you understand that law of the universe, you're able to then kind of realize like, yo, okay, if I take full responsibility for everything that happens in my life, good and bad, I can then begin to alter my reality in my favor. And, you know, it's just it's a life hack. Like I said, it's very simple, but very, very difficult because it's way easier to blame other people or blame circumstances for where you're at in life rather than to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I did this. I own up to this. I'm responsible for this and move forward. But when you do, you give yourself all the power back. And trust me, it's a hard process at first, but the more you do it, the more you practice it, like I'm doing right now. I work at it every day. But it's not easy. I have my moments, that's for sure. And there's times you just want to be like, damn, fuck everything. I want to fucking blame this person for that, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm taking full responsibility for everything in my life. And that gives me the privilege to be able to accept the good and the bad, right? Like if and when you realize that, it's a game changer, that's for sure. So that's life hack number 2. And now I'm gonna go life hack number 3. This one's a super simple one. I'm not gonna have to really explain it too much because it's so simple and it's something that we can do right away. And it's simply smiling more. Just fixing your face to smile more. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you're aware of it or not, a lot of us have resting mugs on our face, right? Where we kind of just are like looking hella mad or looking hella down for some reason, right? And smiling is also, it's also the posture, right? Like posturing more, like standing up straight, arching your back a little bit more straight, right? So, and puffing your chest out a little bit, just kind of like raising your vibrancy through smiling, through keeping your neck or your chin pointed outwards, right? And just being more confident, right? Because these are all simple things. And I know it requires a little bit more energy, but the benefits that are associated when you start to do this stuff is really, really awesome because I notice myself all the time. I play the observer, not in just my external world, but also within myself. I try my very best nowadays instead of like, because if I were to just kind of be natural like this, if you watch in the YouTube video version of it, you'll see my face. This is me just kind of like not putting any energy into my face. It's like a resting, like angry look. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I look at myself in the mirror sometimes. I'm like, man, bro, why are you so angry? But I'm not even angry, but I look angry. But when you kind of add a little bit more energy into your life where you just like, you know what? When I go outside, when I'm outside, I'm going to smile more. I'm going to smile at myself when I'm in the mirror. I'm going to fall in love with my smile. I'm going to look people in the eye. I'm going to walk with my head held high. I'm going to walk with with more of a strut, with more of a, with my back, with my back more aligned straight. So when you do that stuff, like honestly, the energy that comes along with it, it's pretty awesome. The vibrancy that you attract, like, because people like people are attracted to that. You tend to repel more people when you look a little pissed off, right? Like nobody gonna want to approach you, right? So, you know, a simple way of like living happier is just starting to smile more, to be real with you. Just smile more, kind of like be more aware of the energy that you're giving off and do your best to correct that. Again, it's going to require effort. It's going to require you changing your old ways. But I promise you, when you start to make this change and you start to notice the benefits, you're going to want to do it way more often, because I see it in my life and I wouldn't share it with y'all if I didn't really believe it was a life hack. All right. So with life hack volume 4, life hack number 4, maybe there will be an episode volume 4 at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a rolling type of different volumes of different episodes throughout this podcast that I'm going to share with y'all at some point. But life hack number 4. This is a super simple one too, but I think this is really hard, especially for me, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of people as well. I clearly just told y'all I play the role of the observer, not only just in my external through my external circumstances, but also through my internal circumstances as well, right? So through general self-awareness that you cultivate within yourself, you're able to then learn how to play the observer. And this life hack is simply playing the observer, but without criticizing. And that's really hard, especially in today's world where we got opinions left and right, and everybody's so opinionated, and everybody just want to share their opinions like wherever they can, right? Through their platforms of social media and whatnot. And look, I'm guilty of it too, so I'm not trying to demonize that at all. I'm not trying to make that like seem like a bad thing. But I think when you play the role of the observer, you're definitely able to kind of like slow things down to a point where you choose your response a lot more carefully than just simply reacting to what's going on, right? And I'm not saying that like people ain't already doing that, because I'm sure there's plenty of us that are already out there doing that are very mindful with how we craft our responses, and we're not just out there irresponsibly reacting to stuff through emotion and things like that nature, right? Things of that nature. But at the same time, when you are able to learn how to play the role of the observer without judgment, without being critical, you can really, really kind of like, you could just choose how you want to move a whole lot more and just slow things down. Like, I honestly feel like Neo in the Matrix with this one. Like, as the role of the observer, I realized not everything requires a reaction or a response or an opinion. I'll be real with y'all. Like, we have the choice to react, respond, or provide an opinion, but not everything needs an opinion, especially when you enter forums of people that are just out there talking out the side of their neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just arguing amongst each other. And that shit is chaotic. And for me, if y'all know anything about me, which I'm sure you do, because if you follow in this podcast, you know I prioritize peace. And for me, so much clarity comes from peace. So much of how I move and how I live comes from a state of peace and clarity. So if I didn't have that peace and clarity that I develop within myself every single day, if I didn't have that, I'd be erratic. I'd be all over the place. Shit, I'd probably be making poor choices still to this day, and paying for it, you know, because consequences come with all the choices that we make, whether they're good or bad. You know what I'm saying? So playing the role of the observer and being able to observe without criticizing and just being like, oh, interesting. It is what it is, right? And sometimes not even offering a response, reaction, or opinion. Oh my gosh, that preserves so much peace. And again, from that peace is clarity. And with that clarity, I'm able to move and operate the way I want to move. So it's simple, but it's super challenging. So, and I can go deeper in terms of like giving you tips on how to be a better observer that I use. And one thing I do, if y'all know, is I do my very best to avoid what's in the news. Of course, you see stuff that kind of inevitably kind of just finds its way to you, and you kind of deal with it as it comes. But I don't actively search out things on the 24-hour news cycles nowadays, and that's in order to protect my peace. And I only say that because now, in the role of the observer, you're filtering out so much more um, that's kind of outside of your control. And the more you have, that's like the more you're able to do that and protect that space, the more you're able to really operate from a place of clarity. And again, when you do that, you can really choose how you wish to move in this life. And yeah, to each their own. If you're somebody that feels like you want to be informed and you want to be in the know, and you feel like it's an important piece of your life, by all means, go right ahead. But if you're somebody that's looking to um, experience new levels of peace and find ways to be even more productive with your life, and find ways to be uh, find ways to live a more fulfilling life, then take what I said and apply it into your life. I think you'll find the benefits. And yeah, with that being said, those are 4 life hacks that I wanted to share with y'all. And I'm going to wrap up volume 2 of this series that you'll kind of see sporadically through the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. And man, thank y'all so much for rocking with the boy. CL the Source, your friendly neighborhood hope dealer, serving up that inspiration, that motivation, and that positivity like I always do. Yo, and again, just looking at the background of this room, I'm going to very much miss this space. I'm going to miss this room. I'm going to miss the convenience of everything. But at the same time, I'm so very excited to share with y'all what's to come. I got a lot of great things on the way, already happening, and I can't wait to start sharing it through this platform and through the vlogging platform. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, if you love this podcast, please be sure to leave a comment, share it with some other people, like, set the alerts, do all that, man. Do everything that y'all can to help your boy thrive and grow and really share this podcast and develop it as much as possible. So with that being said, man, I love y'all. Big love to each and every one of y'all. Thank you for always rocking with the boy. Till next time, stay up and stay blessed. Peace. Funky dokie. Yeah. Listen.